Welcome to another episode of Fougere Family Adventures. Join us today as we learn how to double stack rods. This technique has been working really well for us, and we would like to share it with you. Now you can see we are fighting a fish, and we continue to fish with 3 rods. We are fishing at depth, and our bottom rods are at 30 feet, while our top rods are at 20 feet. After we land a fish, we need to reset our rod. And how we're doing this is we are using a Macks Shuttle hook. Now you can see how I attach the shuttle hook to my wire downrigger cable. They do come with a rubber band that helps hold it on your cable. I haven't had any issues with losing them yet, but if I was using braided line, I may want to consider trying this. Now our top rods were getting hit more than our bottom rods. The fish seemed to be at about 20 feet most of the time. And targeting the fish that were at 20 feet on our top rods was working well because we did not have to reset both rods every time we hooked a fish. The rod on the bottom at 30 feet kept us at depth, and this way, if we had larger fish or the school moved down to 30 feet, we were able to target those fish. You can also see that the shuttle hawks will come back to the surface on their own. This allows you to fight a fish and then retrieve your shuttle hawk from the water without having to reset your bottom line. Now in this scenario, a fish hits our bottom line. Sarah needs to get the rod up and over the top rod or the top line in order to retrieve this fish and bring it to the net. We need to be mindful of this because as we're retrieving that bottom line, a fish can easily get tangled in your top line, and then you're working with tangled lines and a lost fish. Thankfully, we were able to land this fish, and then we had to work on putting both rods out so we can get fishing with 4 rods again. While I'm resetting our bottom line, we continue to fish with 3 rods. If you look at the back of the boat, our Scotty rocket launcher holder has our top rod, and we are actually fishing that line behind the boat. With this method, it is extremely quick for us to get back into the water. Our bottom line has a shorter setback than our top line, and this allows us to get fishing quickly once again. Now you can see I'm clipping the shuttle hawk onto my downrigger cable for the top line already. From there, I will make sure that I count out how deep I want it to go. In order for the shuttle hawk to dive, I need to speed up a bit, and that pulls it down into the water. I'm just using a typical spinning rod here, and I'm guessing the depth, so I'm counting 20 pulls to what I think 20 feet is. When you're doing this, you will feel the tension from the shuttle hawk pulling down your downrigger cable. Once you get to depth, there'll be enough tension there that you'll be able to put your rod back in your rod holder. This is another example of resetting my top line. I have the line in my hand, and I'm going to hold it with my rod. The shuttle hawk easily clips onto my downrigger cable. Then all I have to do is put my line in the clip, let out some line, and speed up my boat again. Remember, when you speed up your boat, that shuttle hawk will start diving, and you'll be able to get down to depth to where the fish are. One helpful tip when using shuttle hawks is to have a retrieving device in your boat so that you can reach over and pull the shuttle hawk in easier. On this trip, we did not have any such device like a gaff or some kind of a stick, and leaning over to grab the shuttle hawk was difficult, especially in the wind. I would like to show you one more example of resetting our bottom line. We have our line to the setback we want it. We're going to quickly clip it in, send it down, And then we're going to attach the top line and get it back in the water. Now this whole process takes about 2 minutes, but after that we're fishing 4 lines once again, double stacked, thanks to Macks Shuttle hooks. I would like to point out some of the Scotty gear that we're using in our boat. You can see in our oar locks we have the Scotty Oar Lock mounts. In those mounts we're using the Scotty Power Lock rod holders. They are my favorite, especially for anglers that aren't comfortable pulling a rod out of a rod holder. They have a lot of room in them, so it's easy to remove a rod, and you can also lock the rod in place so you don't lose it. We are using Scotty 1085 downriggers. These downriggers are attached to a swivel base, and the swivel base is attached to a pedestal mount, all made by Scotty. In the back of the boat, we have Scotty rocket launcher holders, which allow me to move my rods from one side of the boat to the other when I'm dealing with my downriggers. All these Scotty products together is what makes me efficient and successful while fishing on the water. I hope this video has helped you understand double stacking and how it can be successful. Keep in mind, while I didn't have any tangles on this trip, that a fish who is fighting along and coming up through the depths can get tangled in your line when you're double stacking. So be prepared to have a couple tangles and have a little fun learning along the way. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our channel.